Ready? All right. I thought guys brought great energy today. I like the continued push, from them for our improvement. We got third down situations, a little bit of red zone. Kind of working through just building plan. Obviously with a shorter week, it's just every rep, and every rep has a huge focus of making sure the guys are understanding, but then the application to what we're asking them to do and continuing to build upon the things that we've done. There's a challenge now. It's a fight for your identity. Every day you got to show up and you got to go, put it on display. You can have good feelings what you think you are, but it's still what shows up on film. And the way these guys are approaching the meeting room, the walkthroughs, they're trying to transition that and apply that to when you're out there on the field. It's really, it's been pleasing to see their mindset, but got to have that continued to push, because you'll be going into a hostile environment come Friday night, and against what I think has every bit of capabilities of a great football team from what Virginia has shown. And so we're excited for the opportunity, and every minute's going to matter here on a short week.
Start with Chris.
What stands out to you about Jamari Taylor and the way he runs the ball for them?
Yeah, you better bring your pads, and he is. He's done a great job of being able to extend runs. He runs tough. He's got good vision. You see on short yardage situations, he's had a couple of explosive plays and touchdowns. Just where multiple guys have bounced off of him. I think he's a really good back, and is a threat in a variety of different ways. So I think he's somebody that you better come with the right intention if you plan on stopping him.
Liam?
You talked about Chandler more as their quarterback a little bit yesterday, but his kind of escapability in the pocket.
Yeah, I think it's exceptional. It's ironic, I've known Chandler since he was really young. Chad, his dad and I, worked under his dad, there at Tulsa. And so Chandler, I can't remember exactly how old he was, but seeing him grow and just knowing his story, watching through high school and obviously his collegiate career, and he's playing with such confidence right now. And he's the things that he's been able to do. His offensive line's done a great job in giving him time, but even if there's, somebody's gotten close to pressuring him, they haven't been able to finish on him. And, because he's been able to jump out of, spin out of, keep plays alive, and he's going to have his eyes down the field. He can run, and he can make things happen. He's a great playmaker. So, he presents a great challenge for us, and, you're happy to see people that when they're young, and when you watch their journey, you're happy to see them have success. I just don't want to see it Friday night.
Brendan?
How was Tommy doing this week? Was he able to do more today than yesterday?
He did. He got some work in today. There'll be a report, I think, tomorrow night that we're going to put out.
Heard such things.
Ira?
This will be this offense's first chance to go on the road and play with the boys and all the things you go. Is the fact that so many of these guys are older and have played in a lot of environments, is that something?
Yeah. No, I think it definitely gives you a little bit of comfort in that, but it's still first time for us. And it's like, as you sit there and you go through, you try to prepare, and we've introduced that early, and just continue to build upon that, so that this was not the first week that you try to create those those types of atmospheres. There's gonna be momentum swings in this game. That's all a part of it, and it happens at home, and sometimes you get to thrive off of that energy with like we talked about yesterday. Everybody they're pushing you forward, and you go on the road, and it's complete opposite. And if you have a bad play, if something doesn't go how you want, you feel the weight of all the energy within the stadium. That's you gotta be in control of your response, and so that's really. We've tried to challenge guys, put them in difficult situations, making sure that the crowd noise and all the different elements that we're going to be able to hold true to our discipline, and make sure that we're able to execute in those moments.
Corey?
Two. I'm sorry.
Shocker.
It's how it goes now. First and foremost, I've been asked by a number of fans Tommy's status for next year. Is there any update on whether he would have another year of eligibility because of the change in ruling?
No, there hasn't been a change in ruling as of yet. So we'll see how things progress. I know there's a lot of talk of 5 for 5 possibility. That's not been been adopted, or, you know, we'll see. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's with every player. I mean, you enjoy the day, you enjoy your focus of getting better and putting everything that you have into it, and you know, as season progresses, and you know, we'll see if there's anything that does change. But right now, it's just about today.
And how do you foresee Jalen Lucas in this offense? He was such a huge part of the Alabama game, and he's played the last 2 games, but hasn't been maybe a focal point like.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, you know, you look at you look at the 3 games that we played, and there's been different guys that have really been able to emerge. And Jalen was huge in the first game. You know, he's had a couple plays, but you know, different guys. You know, last week was Makai. You know, Deuce was in the second game. You know, you feel, you know, just the different opportunities that might present themselves, and you know, we want every one of our playmakers to have that type of impact. But you know, there's just different you know, times and sequences of how things play out, and you know, so we'll continue to progress through that. But you know, definitely excited about, you know, his growth.
We have time for a couple more. We'll come back to Brendan.
Following up on Ira's question about crowd noise being on the road, how has communication been in terms of getting plays in with new schemes on both sides of the ball? You know, to date, has that gotten better week over week?
I think it has, and it's, you know, one of the things that, you know, even this week, you know, we're continuing. It's a huge focus for us. One, because of, you know, this atmosphere, but it's also, you know, you know, you play Alabama, and every play was shift, motion, movements on when we're on defense. So you had to be great in communication. You know, out there on the field this week, you know, you're going to see unbalance. You're going to see, you know, formation in the boundary. You're going to see, you know, tempo. I mean, all the different. You know, this is a very unique offense that, you know, mirrors, you know, a lot of things that we do and have face and see. And so, you know, it's gonna. The good thing is we've had to work, you know, against and with each other, you know, throughout fall camp, which there are some similar characteristics. But you know, being on the road and everything, that's, you know, we need to be as good as we've been come Friday.
All right.
With the not having divisions and, you know, the conference race, you know, being wide open, not everybody plays each other, and it's just, do you find yourself spending any time looking at the big picture of the conference at all?
First conference game, go. If you want to be in the conversation at the end, you better win the one that's in front of you.
All right, last one, Chris.
Virginia's been good in the return game. Is it something they do as a whole, or is it Ross's ability back there?
I think Ross is a dynamic, you know, returner. He's tough, you know, even when he's playing receiver, just you know, a guy that's, you know, tough to bring down, and you know, he's got great elusiveness. He showcased great speed. You know, they do a good job schematically and being able to put him in positive, you know, positions, but you know, he can make it happen. So definitely, I think this is our biggest challenge up to date. You know, just in the special teams, you know, world and our coverage unit. So we gotta be ready.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.